out of religion. They weren't, it wasn't as big on a cohesive level as it is always have been with black people, when a lot of white folks in the 70s from the hippie movement, and when Vietnam almost took their children away from them. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But they did stay in the 1973 edition, 73 or 74, 30 years ago, I think it was 1974 edition of this Occult Technology Power, which is a handbook of the people who rule us. They say, although religion might have taken a back seat in some places, we can always count on it being the tool that has worked for us over the centuries to keep people in place, and it goes right along with us keeping people in slavery.
Mm-hmm.
It's occult technology of power. So we know if they were going to say that in regard to white folks, you know that black folks are going to be on total lockdown when it comes to this particular church. Now, let me give you an incident that happened in the 1950s. 1950s, some black people in South Carolina went to what would later on become the desegregation movement. And the only thing they did was that there was some people in one part of the state was just having a discussion on desegregation and stuff. And these people in a place called Mullins, South Carolina, which ain't even on the fucking map.
Yeah, because I ain't never heard of them until I heard you mention it.
Right, it ain't even on the damn map. Its population is 6,000.
Damn.
And it's almost, and it looks just like Mayberry. When you see the Mayberry,
Mm-hmm.
it looks like Mayberry.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? They got the movie, they had all the other little things in a miniature level of what you call it. And I grew up a block from downtown. So it looks like Mayberry.
Mm-hmm.
With rural areas surrounding it. In the middle of nowhere, these people from Mullins, that ain't even on the map, traveled to a meeting in the early 1950s to just listen in on what would become civil rights legislation, or what would become a civil rights movement, you see what I'm saying, of trying to desegregate the South.
Mm-hmm.
And there were just 4 or 5 people present at this meeting. And when they got back home in Mullins, South Carolina, they were from a church, the AME church. And when they got home from Mullins, South Carolina, these people, for the rest of their lives, would have problems finding decent jobs, and these were professional people. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And they were tracked by the AME church, by some government officials. So if it can be in a town that ain't even on a fucking map, and these people get into some conspiratorial problems through the church, what do you think about church in the general society? Ruled by the government.
Well, you know, we just had a situation up here in D.C., actually it was in Maryland, where a Baptist church, where the president went and visited the church. And this guy actually let the president get up on the pulpit and kiss him on his forehead in front of the congregation. Mm-hmm. Now, how do you think, or how did the president have to pick that particular church? I mean, you know, in other words, how did he happen to pick that particular church to go to? And this guy actually preaches against what the president does, but then he invites him to the church.
Yeah.
I don't understand the psychosis, man.
Because we're talking about the same entity. To give you an example, they just had a war in the spring of the year. First of all, I'm trying to figure out, not only why would the government you just got into 2000. You didn't know whether you was going to even be around past 2000, because in the spirit world, they just don't know from all the bad deeds they did that the millennium came, and it's not 2000, at least 2001, because that was the actual millennium.
Mm-hmm.
And you get past that, and you ain't shaking saying, woo, man, we didn't know, but we might have thought that our shit, all the devious things and insidious things we have done all over the world, that our shit might have ended. And you mean to tell me you get into 2003, and you just barely escaped the millennium, and you're going to do something like have a war? And not only have a war, but a bogus false war at that.
Yeah.
One that you didn't have to have, but this is not the thing about the government, because the government is evil and going to stay that way.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's not them, but how does the people allow it?
That's true.
Now, gets even worse. We got a church on every corner.
And a liquor store.
Liquor store on every corner. But look at this. We got a church on every corner in the United States. The doctrine is thou shalt not kill.
Mm-hmm.
And you somehow manage in your history of colonization, in the history of the 20th century when you're supposed to be an upper mobile people and still fight wars. But, nevertheless, this is the millennium. You got a church on every corner. But this time you got a mosque, more mosques than you had 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a war that's going to fight against Islamic people. And yet there's no clergy people in the United States jumps up and oppose the war.
At all. About nothing.
About nothing. But this is interesting, because this also goes back into that preacher that's getting paid. It's a clever stroke because Bush, the first thing he did when he got into office, it gave him the faith-based initiative.
Mm-hmm.
And every single church to let you know what they're really about. Are they about money, or are they about preaching a doctrine that's supposed to be about moralism, if you want to say that, or righteousness? Why is it that every single organization, mosque, synagogue, you understand what I'm saying? All of them chose not to speak out is because they got paid off.
Mm-hmm.
And to let you know how much your doggone religion is really worth, it's only expedient based on what kind of money you get.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
You see what I'm saying? So, this shows you the kind of mentality and try to think of what we really deal with. Oh yeah, we love Jesus.
We love the Lord.
And we love the Lord. But that go out the door when homeboy is paying the money.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll send our children to war and get killed so we can keep this goddamn check.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt not kill. But not only thou shalt not kill, it's not a matter of somebody over there on another part of the world, two people fighting that don't live in this country, and you oppose them. No, your own children are going to fight.
Mm-hmm.
And not only do you not say anything, you send them off with a blessing of the so-called Lord. Mm-hmm. You sanction it through the religion.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So here goes again. I want to ask all the black Christians, because they claim they love Jesus so much. How is it that the black Christians didn't stand up? And you don't have to have no preacher guiding you. You must ask yourself as an individual.
Your own conscience.
Your own conscience.
Your own heart. Your own conscience.
You know what I'm saying? But it goes to show you this. Does it mean that every protest we have in this country is devised by somebody else?
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously we don't never do nothing unless somebody rallies us to do it.
Right.
But my point is, where's the own consciousness? And my point here is that you say you love Jesus so much, you quick to point out Jesus every individual you meet.
Mm-hmm.
Why all of a sudden you suspend that? You know what I'm saying? You see people, you meet them. How you doing? Oh, he's blessed. I'm blessed.
Yeah.
He's truly to be praised. I didn't ask you about your religious standing. Yeah. I asked how the fuck were you, in a basic thing. Oh, I'm blessed. He's truly worthy to be praised. Like, what the fuck? Now, you make it a point to know that you are Jesus man, Jesus religious, all this here, but now the war on. And now all of a sudden you suspend all of that. You know what I'm saying? So you selective on what you gonna say Jesus about. So you give me something that's minor when I say how you doing, and you go, I'm
blessed.
I'm blessed. Let's look at this. You say, okay, I'm saying something very minor. Now look at this and see how your Jesus go. I say, how you doing? You can very well omit Jesus and go, I'm doing fine today. I'm a little under the weather.
Right.
And all right. But you're gonna give me all this Jesus stuff about he's worthy to be praised and all of this. And I just ask you how you doing.
Right.
And then I ask you about the goddamn war, which is something that Jesus is supposed to be directly into, and you don't say nothing about it.
At all.
That's backwards.
Yeah.
You see, that's backwards. So we're still, here it goes again, we're still talking about mental illness. Mental illness is a process when the dots ain't connected. When things are so irrational that they don't make no damn sense. You understand what I'm saying? That it is, it is basically going to a psychological problem. And we see this in the community. Now take for instance, now here goes another one. Let's break it down this church. You got these black preachers, Creflo Dollar, T.D. Jakes, Fred Price, and their whole concept here is to be blessed financially.
Yeah, prosperity.
Prosperity, based on how much you give to the church.
Based on how much you'll get back. And how much you'll get back.
How much you're going to get back. And how much you're going to give to the church. And God is now into collecting cash. He's a motherfucking pimp. Bitch better have my money.
Yeah.
So that's what God is saying now. Bitch better have my money. So now God done changed to a pimp-ass motherfucker. Now I want to ask you this particular question. How grown people, educated people can sit up in a church and say, well, I want to ask this question. What was the type of God into 100 years prior, 50 years prior, when we didn't have no fucking money? Was he pissed off at us? I'm trying to figure this out now. You talk about God gonna bless you based on how much you give. Well, what was God doing when you had people who didn't have no money, let alone
Mama and grandmama.
Mama and grandmama. Or let's say this here. Well, what does God do for people on the other side of town?
Don't have nothing.
They don't have shit. Where's this God coming from? Now, this is the concept here. Now, to show you the government thing, this is a government process, government agent. The government, because they study us around the clock.
Around the clock.
When we sleep and they study us.
That's right.
They had known about 30 years ago. They said, look, this is what's going to have to happen. With a certain socio-economic progress of black people, their views on Christianity might change. They might begin to wake up and go, hey, we're educated now. We're educated now. We make about $100,000 a year, some of us, a few of us, but most of us make roughly about $40,000 a year to $50,000 a year, which still puts us firmly in the upper lower class that we call middle class. But still yet, we're making more money than we made before. And some people make a great deal of money. We are the seventh spending nation on the planet. We're right behind Spain. You see what I'm saying? In what we consume and what we spend. Now, they knew that some of them niggas might get to wake up and go, hey, this some bullshit about this Jesus shit.
Yeah, that's right.
So they said, we can't let our upward mobile nigga get ahead of us. So what we need to do is we need to tailor a preacher and a religious doctrine. It's called prosperity. It's called prosperity theology. To suit the now newly emerged buppy. You know, they call it yuppie.
Yeah.
The buppy nigga, that's, or the black capitalist.
Right.
He has to have a religion that is conducive to him, that fits his lifestyle. Otherwise, he might go, no, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? I might get into some shit that might be conducive to something else. So what the government did is they got a group of these government agents. They started this shit back in the 1930s on a trial basis with Reverend Iton. Remember Reverend Knight?
Right.
Now, it's interesting here.
But at least he was straight up.
He was straight up. But we used to look at Reverend Knight about his money as a form of humor.
Right.
We used to laugh at Reverend Knight.
He was a joke.
He was a joke, and he used to be, we used to look at him as a form of humor whenever we wanted to resort to a charlatan.
Right.
That was straight up about it. You don't have nothing to do with your money. Give me your money, and I'll do what.
Right.
I'll show you what to do with it.
Right.
We used to look at that as comical and as a joke.
Right.
Because we know that the basic structure of the black church, you understand what I'm saying, was not this particular money-grubbing pimpism.
But now all the preachers are about that like that now.
But now what used to be a joke about 30 years ago, and in the 1970s,
It's a standard.
is the standard now, and is now synonymous with Jesus, God, or whoever, whatnot, that's in the upper room.
Yeah.
It is the standard. So what used to be a joke to black people who had common sense and say, God damn it, we've had this church since we were fucking poor.
Right.
When we didn't have shit, we've always had the church.
Right.
And so for Reverend Knight to come 30 years ago, that was a joke. Because we knew that it didn't have anything to do with whether you had money or not, because everybody was poor, and we still had a church on every corner.
That's right.
Now it is the standard for black people who got money, and because money is the true religion in this country, and most people who have money find out that that is the religion, they need a theology to go along with that. You see what I'm saying?
Well, you know, they got churches here in Maryland. Man, you got to fill out applications. Man, they got direct deposit, all kinds of shit.
Direct deposit applications, you got to show your W-2 forms.
That's right. That's right. I'm telling you, man.
And one guy,
Shit.
he's a conscious brother. He had beat the girl over the head because she wasn't conscious, but he got her into consciousness. You know what I'm saying? She was semi, but you know how it is with tradition, and I understand what she wanted to get married in a church because her mother had cancer and was getting ready to die.
Right.
So it was fitting for her to go
To do it like that.
and do it that way because she wanted to give the mother. They had even took the church, the wedding, and moved it up to an earlier date because they didn't want the mother to pass on. And I think the mother passed on right after the wedding. So they had to go through the church. You see what I'm saying? To please to please the mother, or to be where the mother was before she died. But here's a conscious person up in there, and the first thing he said, the guy told him, we need your W-2 forms. I'm giving you my W-2. They said, we can't marry you if we don't know your W-2 form, because he's a potential donor to the church.
Man, that's crazy, man. Lunacy.
You see, we're talking about people, you are a financial institution to them. So they are lobbying for you to be a person of the church based on your finances.
That's right.
And if you don't have finances, it might be the point where they might reject you from even coming in this church.
That's right.
Now, since when? Let's show you the savagery of it. Black people had one choice in this doggone country. No matter what, you had the right to go to whatever church you wanted to go to in the black community. Now, since when you got to the point where these people got to put you on application to accept you in a church that in the 1960s on back, they didn't even lock the doors to the church.
That's right.
You remember the church? They didn't.
Right.
We were so humane until you could keep the church open, and they didn't even have to lock the doors to the damn church. They didn't start doing that to the 80s.
But what happened to the church when they say, "Come as you are"?
Come as you are.
Now I was telling you about the sister, the nice sister that you talked to. She has a tongue ball. They told her she had to take her tongue ball, she had to take her earring out, she had to do this and that, before she can be in the church.
Yeah.
Now what kind of mess is that, man?
What kind? Come in.
In other words, since when they had a dress standard,
Right.
or a certain way that you had to be,
Right.
in order to be accepted.
Yeah. Since when did this have to do anything
With God?
You question with God, and you go into hell for wearing a tongue ball. But whereas a man has on a necktie that is designed based on European freakism as a phallic symbol for the Europeans, where the necktie points down to the penis.
That's right. That's right.
You see what I'm saying? There's all types of European fashion that's based on sexual stuff.
That's right.
Not necessarily saying that being sexually active or anything got anything to do with God, but I'm trying to say it's this double standard.
Right.
And you didn't research that. You automatically just took it with no question.
No question.
You see what I'm saying? So it's this type of thing here. But here it is again. They check your W-2 form.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And they do all of this stuff.
They got committees, all kinds of stuff.
Committees based on finances. You know. And my point here is, here goes again, because this is the upward mobile. I'm trying to figure out, is thought, and I do believe now, in a society, we talk about mental illness, I do believe now that thought is obsolete. I think secretively, now listen to me, what I'm saying here. Now get this. I think secretively we can be into a series of regimental living, whereas you got certain patterns that's set for you every day that you don't even have to think.
In other words, people will be functioning off of automation.
Yeah, automation.
Yeah.
Until you look up and you find out that thought is obsolete. Because you always ask this question, what was this motherfucker thinking?
Yeah.
This is becoming commonplace every hour.
Yeah.
So you're talking about automation, a certain regimental track that you do every day that you don't even have to function. And although it might be sophisticated, you get in your car, you put on the cell phone, you go to work, you do what you told, you come back. It's such a regimental living until the process of thought has all but deteriorated and become some type of ancient arcane function that used to occur in humans.
Right.
This is the experiment, because I'm looking at this thing and I'm going, and you know we know what we're talking about, because when we become conscious, as conscious black people, we are constantly amazed at how, not what the people in the street do, but how is it you can have certain people, they're so-called learned.
That's what I'm talking about.
That would think this way. But then again, when you look at the basic education, it's the same regimental automation on how they give you the process of learning. Here's the syllabus. Go by what this says. Complete these classes. Pass these tests. Write these papers. And bam, you certified.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Here's a job. Wear this suit.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Do this task.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Go to this function.
Ask no question.
Ask no question. Get recertified every 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Until in so many words.
And pay your taxes.
Pay your taxes. And then this. Then this is the other part. You get into conversations with humans, and it is not fashionable for you to speak out of line of being politically correct. So it's not fashionable for you to come up with some shit way out of the corner, way out of the certain basic functions of conversation. You know what I'm saying? So here go, you can't even come with no new thought because you might speak out of place. You don't want people to think you crazy. Mm-hmm. So all the conversation is what people want to hear. Mm-hmm. And not what they ought to hear. Mm-hmm. Now we know this because I just did a lecture yesterday on concepts of shit that's so remote till if a person wasn't trained to understand that they're going to a lecture to learn something new and really try to learn something and thinking they're going to a lecture for regurgitation to also to co-sign on what they already know, they would think, oh God, this motherfucker, he is out of his mind, the shit that he is saying.
Right.
And they don't understand for the mere fact that you learn something new, that is what knowledge is. Knowledge is not supposed to be familiar. Confirming something that you already know.
It's not supposed to be familiar.
Right.
Yeah.
For the mere fact, you know what I'm saying? For the mere fact, it is the way it is. That is out of the ordinary, means that is knowledge. Like take for instance, which also has to do, going back to black psychology of black people. Because let us make a slave is let us make a child. Mm-hmm. A child borders on the familiar.
Right.
It doesn't like change. Mm-mm. That's why you must force it to change. Mm-hmm. It doesn't like to study. It likes to do what it likes to do. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It can be very lazy. You know what I'm saying? But no, but I got to give it this because, see, children are inquisitive.
Yeah, they are.
No, I can't put this on the child. This is more like an animal that's set in a certain instinctual pace.
Right.
You know, a chicken gonna eat the corn and eat the shit.
Right.
And pick up its droppings.
And then shit.
And then shit and eat that. It's gonna never break a cycle. A hog, if you've ever seen hogs before, if anybody's ever went around hogs, it's such a grotesque thing.
Oh, man.
Until you never eat a hog. Because a hog never stops eating.
Never.
Never. Not only does it never stop eating, the only time it stops in the bull hog is when it's screwing. But even when when one hog is screwing the other hog, the damn sow is still eating.
No. I've seen hogs be screwing and eating.
Eating.
Mind me of a nigga.
Hey, I think I have munched on some shit while I was in some pussy before too. That's what the new one for the white man and stuff like that. And you know, we always pick up these traits of what black people do. I think I done chowed down on some cheese or something when I was bringing some booty. Some candy. I done had some shit in my mouth other than a titty nipple. It wasn't no clitoris. It was a goddamn some honey roasted and smoked turkey. Some kind of shit. And I was fucking away when I was about to get out that pussy though. But I was eating.
Would you say with some now later something?
Yeah, but you know, with a hog. So going back, the function of a people, you know what I'm saying, they're so set in their mode until they can't come up. And when somebody introduces something new to them, it's a shock value. It's something because it's so abnormal to the procedure. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Put to the procedure. Now, take for instance, we had a great conversation with the sister today, and basically, some things just take a certain amount of analytical ability.
Right.
It didn't take, ultimately, me to come up as a learned person to guide them. And I'm quite sure if you want additional information, you're going to have to run into certain people like that. But some things are basic.
Right. You need to want to know.
You want to know.
You need to know.
You need to know. You know what I'm saying? You need to know. You need to get to the bottom of it. You see what I'm saying?
Well, you know, what it is, a lot of people have just become just numb and become very comfortable with mediocrity.
Yeah, with mediocrity.
You know, until the shit hit the fan.
Yeah.
Then they panic.
Then they panic.
Look, man, we back, man. You know something about us before we left? You know, I just was thinking, man, you know, we are worse off than we used to be. I mean, you know, see, we you know, we just outright fucked up. I mean, it's no other way to dress this shit up. They talk about reparations. Is there such thing? The reparations? Can we be prepared because black folks is in a fucked up state? Now, I'll prove it to you. On the job, Cracker told me straight up, he said, you know something? He said, man, you know, I like you. You good people. He said, well, what's wrong with your people? And I'm trying to figure what he meant by that. Because you got niggas on the job that tell on you. Mm-hmm. You got them Negroes will get around white folks and talk about other black folks around the Cracker. Right. To me, that's a violation.
Right.
In your opinion, how are we supposed to deal with niggas like that?
Well, let me explain something about white folks. In the movie Tombstone, came out back in '93 with Kurt Russell and Val Kilmer and all them. They was talking about this guy who was a killer, and was a killer and just want to kill everybody and just disrupt. And the guy said, look, he's looking at himself, and in his heart is a big old hole. He can't fill that hole. And the guy said, well, and he's angry. He said, angry for what? He said, of being born. Now, these people have certain psychosis about them. Were Europeans coming out of caves and hills of Europe until they don't really like themselves so much as what we think. And the reason why they're into a perpetual self-grandizement, self-congratulatory thing of themselves is because they have to see themselves as being the image and the criteria all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a form of their, and that's a form of, that's a psychosis, that's a form of a mental illness. To even manufacture shit about themselves that is not true. Now there was one key about that though. These people, by them always looking at themselves and knowing there's some inadequacies about them, they are always in admiration of those particular people who don't worship them. They don't get nothing beneficial out of somebody grinning in their face when they know that they're inadequate. Now, let me give you an example. What I mean by this. We know that certain pretty women, they get guys coming at them. They go to the mall, guys coming at them. They be at the red light, guys coming at them.
Right.
They get out on the sidewalk, guys coming at them. So that becomes a total turn off. And these guys, and these women used to end up with guys that the average woman wouldn't even look at. They go, wait a minute, how
did he get her?
This guy get her?
Mm-hmm. See it all the time.
And the way he was able to get her was he didn't buy into the same pattern as these men. He didn't give a fuck about her.
Period.
And so as a result, she ended up
being attracted to him.
Being attracted to him.
Mm-hmm.
Understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Being attracted to him. I saw this white girl one year, and I remember this shit. This white girl, as white girls go. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm quite sure there's attractive women in every race.
Of course.
No problem.
Of course.
And I'm not talking about from a white person's standard. This was a woman, she walked into the place, and this wasn't even with black people. I was the only black. You know how we were the only black people at this party.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed this girl, and I noticed people. Everybody in the place turned around this white girl. Man, this white girl was radiant. And everybody, and this is what white people was turning around like, woo, this is a beautiful babe. And her boyfriend showed up about a couple of minutes later. And people was blown out of their mind. This guy looked like somebody dug him from up under the building. Looked like Grizzly Adams.
Damn.
And his clothes was wrinkled and shit. And she was all over this nigga, this white boy.
Mm-hmm.
But he produced something that she was not used to dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you got to look at white folks as that pretty woman. They got people all over the world defecting their cultures to come and be white. They call it globalization.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you got they see the Africans coming in and want to be white. Somebody so opposite from them. The Asians coming in. You know what I'm saying? They see us, the upward mobile of us, rejecting our people to want to be with them and like them. So they get all these particular people that's coming in. You see what I'm saying? And our people haven't learned. Because you spend your time trying to spend your time trying to appease them, that they are turned off by that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And we haven't learned this yet. We will go through the ultimate link. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
To appease them and to accommodate them. And we don't know that is the very thing that they disrespect. Because they're like that pretty woman. They're not looking at the whole world now, and they have deceived the whole world. Okay, we buy it. You Europeans are the greatest.
Mm-hmm. That's funny you said that, because just a couple weeks ago, I went to see Paul Mooney.
Uh-huh.
And I tell you something, man. That nigga got the ultimate job.
No.
He got the ultimate job. Man, look. Man, a black man can't have a better job than they would get on stage and cuss a cracker out to his face, and a cracker will love you and pay. Because every time they come in town, I go see him, and I see the same crackers in the audience.
In the audience. Look.
Which tells me something. They love it. See,
love it.
A cracker don't want no subservient, buck dancing, tall nigga.
They like sadomasochism.
Yep.
They want to get their ass beat.
Spike.
And that's what happened. I saw Paul Mooney in December.
I love him.
No, in November. Unbelievable. White folks in the place falling all out. You know. Now, he does it, he makes no bones about it, and he says what other black people in Hollywood and in show business go in fear of.
Right, fear of.
You know what I'm saying? Go in fear of. And it's interesting here, we can take the opposite of that. Michael Jackson, who loved white folks, is days long.
And O.J.
And O.J. Simpson. Loved him.
Don't get O.J.
He never met a white woman he didn't like. And here's these niggas now getting strung up. Here's a man that loved white folks and white folks loved Michael Jackson. But ultimately, it's showing you, motherfucker, you the greatest entertainer there ever was, and you were the only black person in history that actually was born chocolate.
Right.
And turned completely white.
Vanilla.
Right. No, he whiter than white folks. White folks be like, that nigga's paleness is unnatural.
Yeah, right.
And yet, they are stringing you up, and somehow they are vilifying you as still a black man. And one reason why, because you love them. You love them. Now, let me tell you the truth now. It's interesting here because it goes back to that same concept. And what we hadn't figured out yet. I was with Carly one year in Lincoln Square Mall. And some white guy came up and said, I know who you are. You Carly Muhammad. Carly, yeah. You know?
Yeah.
But I looked at the reaction of this particular person. You see what I'm saying? And we don't figure this thing out. It's therapeutic for us to stand up. And I remember this good. Little old Ginger. She was in her mid-20s at the time. She just turned 30. I was 11 years older than her when we met about 10 years ago. She just turned 30 this year. You know, we've been separated about 4 years now. But I remember when she was about 24. She was working on Atlanta Journal and Constitution. This is the paper that was responsible for sending Wayne Williams to jail.
Okay.
And when they put Dr. York on the cover of that paper in color, and I said, man, he don't know what he did.
In color? In
color on the front page. I said, they're going to get him soon. He will be locked up in jail. That was a campaign. They put him on the cover in the fall of 97. And I said, man, I won't be done but a few minutes when they get him. So let me tell you. She's there. And they got a white woman that's high up. She had been there for 30, 40, 50 years. High up cracker, nasty cracker. White people and black people go in fear of this motherfucking bitch. Because she one of them crackers that's high up, been there, and got this high position.
Putting them with the power.
Putting with the power. And so everybody buck dance around her. Here it is, Ginger, who's conscious.
Step to a throne.
The woman said something and raised her voice at Ginger. And Ginger called this white bitch out in front of the entire paper. And this is damn near 5 floors. And the word got out. This is one of the biggest papers in the United States. They own Reicher Entertainment. And they own 4 or 5 other papers in other states. The Cox people.
Oh, yeah. Cox family big.
Cox family.
He big, yeah.
She called this woman out and put her finger in this white woman's face and said, don't you ever raise your voice with me as long as you white in this building again. And sure enough, the word got out that this little black girl, about 24 years old, told this cracker off the high up, whereas other slave niggas has been there for 30 years and stuff, big old grown rusty niggas go in fear. But she was conscious and she realized no job was worth this white woman coming with some bullshit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? She told this white woman off. The white woman off. The next day, the paper started treating her with respect. And the white woman started coming up to her and started treating this girl with respect. And before you know it, I'll show you about niggas buck dancing. They gave her a job as assistant fashion editor. And not only did she get the job as assistant fashion editor, she had not graduated from college yet. And this was something that was totally out of her field. Do you know how many people would get to be a fashion editor? They would come and be an assistant of an assistant so they can move in that position one day to get to be a fashion editor in a major newspaper. She became the assistant fashion editor.
One more step to go.
Them crackers promoted her to a certain level. You see what I'm saying? Because she was a Negro that didn't give a fuck.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
You see. And it's the same doggone concept when it comes to things. They don't like people who buck dance, but the problem here now is this, the sad part about it's getting worse. You know, Uncle Tom's used to be a group of people in the community 40 years ago or 30 years ago that used to be a social pariah. No one wanted to be called Uncle Tom.
Right.
Those are the people you pointed your finger at and said, look at that old buck dancing Uncle Tom nigga.
Yeah, that nigga ain't nothing.
And the whole community used to vilify the Uncle Tom, and they would do it, they would be in secret, but it used to be something, you see what I'm saying, that was looked down upon.
Right.
Now, 30, 40 years later, the scene has shifted, and now the average person is Toms and Thomasinas.
Right.
And the person who has some type of social consciousness is looked down upon.
Yeah, the one with
and
some guts.
vilified.
The one that got guts.
The one that has guts.
Yeah.
Well, he's a crazy nigga.
Yeah. You know, he's a troublemaker.
He's a troublemaker.
You know, he rocking the boat.
Right.
Yeah.
He's rocking the boat.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So we're talking, you know what I'm saying? Now, going back to this particular part here, and I think it's in the Hermetic material, which is coming out of ancient Kemet. They say that not everything on this planet is even born with a mind. They say you have to develop a mind, or it has to be something spiritual.
Well,
I'm inclined to believe that shit.
Well, hey, we're dealing with the Negroes, and that's a daily basis. That shit is for real.
It's for real.
Right.
We have seen something that was ancient scripture that you might go, that's magnificent. But now when I really think about it, we don't critique ourselves enough to even find out whether we even thinking. To the point when we meet others, we don't even know if they got a mind. Let me tell you something. You know, we got a lot of black guys marrying white girls. It's been a big thing, you know. Now you got sisters doing it. And Ebony helped out on that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Ebony put a thing in there about the Jew boy and them opened up a club in Chicago, and they had a national register of for black women to come and
meet white men.
And they started out, and the first thing they had a couple of thousand or a couple of hundred.
Right.
Now it's up to like 40-something thousand, and they're turning down black women. And Ebony, knowing that our people are influenced by their magazine, it's a comic book.
Right.
For them to print that in there means that they're down with the bullshit. That means that and the more people who read Ebony is dead people anyway. So this means if you had a black girl that had this in her mind, the defect, now she sees Ebony that co-signs the bullshit. You understand what I'm saying? And sanctions it. So I look at their move on that, but let me tell you. But we do know that that's the thing, a growing number of black women. But the black man, that nigga, he's got 10 years ahead of her. That nigga just basically abandoned the shit on that particular aspect. But this is one thing now. But there's a group of black men that's going with so many white women until now the reports are coming back. It's like a case study for white folks to observe something about black people that they probably wouldn't be able to observe by being outside. But now they observe this, and this is the report coming back from white women. White women say they go into the black people's families and their homes because they're inside now, and they say, they sit around the dinner and they say they have been in these homes for 4, 5, 6 years now. And they say they looked at these families because they survey things. And they say they've been in these homes for 4, 5 years, and they say they have never witnessed an intellectual conversation around the dinner table. Say they have yet witnessed an intellectual conversation around the dinner table. These niggas sit around and they don't talk about nothing.
I mean, absolutely nothing.
Nothing. You know what I'm saying? You know, Not unless it's some football game or some kind of shit.
Yeah, or Kobe Bryant.
Or Kobe, something that is so blatantly into the front page.
Mundane, on Monday level.
But they don't even talk about nothing. And this girl is analyzing for 4 years. She's waiting, because she's figuring, well, you know, you have your ups and downs, but sooner or later these niggas going to break off into something serious.
Right.
And she said, 4 years them niggas ain't never talked about shit. Now, I can identify because I know she telling the truth. I have surveyed niggas, and they won't go nowhere. They won't go there.
No.
You see what I'm saying?
And we're getting mad, you try to take them there.
Yeah.
No, niggas ain't trying to go.
Right.
Ain't trying to go.
Now, the bell curve came out, the book The Bell Curve came out in 1990, 1989, 1990, or whenever the bell curve came out, and it said that black people were intellectually inferior. Now, what we didn't realize was, when they made this particular aspect, we didn't know that the white man had coded it to talk to his people. He knew that we wasn't going to get the basic concept. And what he was not talking about is where we were genetically inferior and not having the capability, because the #1 intellectual on the planet in Europe now, and they've been quiet about this. See, when it was the Japanese, everybody knew about it. The #1 person on the planet now intellectually now, as far as academia, is the Nigerian.
Really?
They have wiped out everything on the goddamn planet.
Really?
The fucking Asians can't keep up. The British and shit gone. They have completely devastated the entire whole European continent, which is supposed to be the bastion of education now. Because over here, you know, it's a simulation of what they do and stuff. And at Cambridge, Oxford, the tip-top universities, they have completely obliterated the whole academia world. The fucking Africans.
Hey.
And they ain't letting motherfuckers know about that. So obviously the bell curve is not talking about your potential. What people didn't understand and what it was talking about was your state.
Right.
Now it says that black people are not inferior of learning. You don't have an inferiority as far as your capability. But they're saying as your state, you're intellectually inferior. There's a difference.
Right, the state that you in now.
The state that you in now.
Present time.
Present time. Not saying that you don't have the potential, the probability, or the possibility,
right,
or potentiality.
We're talking right now.
We're talking about right now as you see it.
Right.
They were saying, if you don't exercise your intellect and you don't function intellectually, then you are intellectually inferior. There's a difference.
Yeah.
They say that you are genetically inferior. You see what I'm saying? When it comes to intellect.
In other words, cerebral atrophy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So the bad girl was saying, and if niggas couldn't get it, what they were saying, they was not talking about it because they know they got people, they know that they got genius niggas on these jobs individually that excel far beyond any damn white man, Japanese, anything. They were talking about as a state of black people as a collective.
Right.
This was the fucking 12, 13 years ago. And we're seeing the side effects, we're seeing the main effects about it now. In the millennium, we are brain dead people.
We'll say flatline.
Fucking flatline. You ain't never You see? And but we're talking about people that don't function at all. And everything we do is a form of training by the general society or by a popular culture. We don't do nothing outside of fad now. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You see. Hardly any individuals no more in the particular aspect of, you know, we used to have people that just be genius. You know what I'm saying? And we just, and I ain't talking about educated, I'm talking about just people even in our doggone grassroots form.
Right.
You would just meet very interesting people in the 1970s.
Well, you know, the one thing that black people as a whole used to be back on the day when we didn't have education, we had common sense.
Right.
We don't even have that shit no more.
Right. And see, common sense, what that does, it spawns a certain amount of genius. Because out of that, you got a certain playing ground to start from, then you can grow from, you can go into another levels. Now what we're talking about here is just straight up animalistic. Let me give you an example. I know a sister.
Primitive.
I say savage. Barbarism.
Right.
Because primitive can mean something even on a greater level. But let me tell you, I know a sister. Never developed thought beyond her feelings. If it takes her to think of something, she got a time delay on thought process. She has to go based on how she feels. And too often how you feel can be wrong.
Most of the time it is.
Yeah, because it's pure emotion.
Right.
And something happened in the development, whereas she's in her 40s now, and she never developed forethought. And there's a mythology, talk about mythology, there's Prometheus, he who has forethought, but he has a brother, which means they're of the same race, which is a black person, because this is the indigenous ancient mythology. There's Prometheus, he who has forethought, and there's Epimetheus, he who has hindsight. And they talk about black people, how we are reactionary people instead of a proactionary people.
Right, right.
You see what I'm saying? So, I'm seeing this in this particular person, and she's nothing but a microcosm of what the race is, period.
Right.
She's just a severe form. This woman cannot function off of nothing but feeling, and she's so bad with it now, too, when you try to come and tell her, you're making a mistake. Don't do it.
Right.
She can't analyze that you were giving her pertinent guidance. She still has to go with how she feels, and she has to act upon how she feels and see it through, although it can be a bad, grave mistake.
In other words, she wants to justify her lunacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And so she can, and so she can't. And what it was is certain things was never developed. So now here she is in her 40s. It's too fucking late.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, she fucked up.
Right? It's too late. But I look at her and I go, you know, this is, but you know the funny thing about it though? She's real sophisticated. She's an excellent businesswoman. She's she's highly functional. You know what I'm saying? So this can constitute for how we can have years of educated people that's highly functional. You know what I'm saying? But fucked up in the mind when the machine breaks down outside of that which they're trying to function in. So they can learn how to function. But it's got to be in the context of a certain categories and stuff. If they was to come outside of that everyday regimen,
They lost.
they lost. So now here goes back to black consciousness. They can function as Europeans because they've trained themselves on what to do. You know, you see what I'm saying? Or I say as subhuman Europeans, because shit, if they function totally like Europeans, they'd be in European status. They'd be a little better than what they are. But they can function in a certain environment on a subpar level. But when you say, let's try to now be what we used to be, not African. You just talking about be what you used to be 30, 40 years ago. It's like a culture shock.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's called obsessive compulsive disorder. Obsessive compulsive disorder, a person they can't be spontaneous. If you tell them we got to be somewhere at 11 o'clock, in order for them to do that, they got to get up 2-3 hours earlier to work towards getting out of there because they normally don't leave the house at that time. So because they can't break the boundaries of a set pattern, you see what I'm saying?
Right.
Of a set pattern, they have to work hard at doing it because they're not spontaneous. They can't do things out of the ordinary. Thus, that's the of obsessive compulsive disorder. They get stuck in patterns, addictions.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And repetition.
Mm-hmm.
And they can't break that as easy. They're gripped into boundaries and margins.
Mm-hmm.
And in order for them to do something that is out of the ordinary, they have to prepare for it. You see what I'm saying? So let's say if they don't leave the house at a certain time. Let's say they're used to getting out at 3 o'clock. You go do a certain daily regimen that they've been doing. And you tell them, I need you to be somewhere at 9 o'clock in the morning. You see what I'm saying? It's going to be a complete task for them to meet that. Mm-hmm. Now, that's what obsessive compulsive disorder is. They cannot break out of boundaries. They will set certain patterns and they become addicted to the certain pattern. Mm-hmm. And anything that tries to break that pattern, they have problems.
Right.
They have a total breakdown. Mm-hmm. This is how black people are when it comes to CP time. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. A nigga gonna be late.
Right. They're fashionably late.
Yeah,
They're famous for it.
Right, right.
Now, it's a form of obsessive compulsive disorder. Now, it's interesting to hear about this, about the psychosis. I do lectures, and everywhere in the country, we say, well, we have learned to say, well, if you want to get them there at 3 o'clock, you better say 2. Mm-hmm. If you want to get them at 4 o'clock, you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You better say 3. You give them an hour and stuff, and then they'll start filing in because they ain't going to meet that thing. But it's the funny thing about it. The white man now can say, be here
at 9.
At 9.
And you there at quarter up.
Quarter up.
Mm-hmm.
Some motherfuckers will be there at 8.
Right, you get that coffee, that's right.
Right. So it's interesting now, but it's almost who you identify as a parent.
Right.
The white man is the standard. Mm-hmm. And the authority, that's why we call him the man.
Right.
Of the society. Mm-hmm. So therefore, when he says, now that's interesting how these people, just showing you some psychological shit, how these people can be late every single time we have a black event. Mm-hmm. And yet, can be on time for their job.
Every day.
Every day.
And, so you can get there early to get the check.
And then the white, this is another thing about it, this really, really psychological shit. The white man, so you can still say, well, that's regimental, they do it every day, so they're in the routine, and that's a part of the obsessive compulsive disorder. They got certain times that they can do things to set. But look at this, that white man sometimes will say, all of a sudden he'll have a meeting at 4 o'clock, or have a meeting at 2 o'clock that's out of the ordinary. Mm-hmm. And the niggas will still get there. Mm-hmm. They bet not attend that meeting. You understand what I'm saying? So here goes again, we still talking about some shit that is put in on slavery. You know what I'm saying? What they want to do. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. In this particular movies and stuff like that, and a certain amount of propaganda. Let me give you an example. We was also talking about in Ebony about these black girls now. They got this registrar, and it's now supposed to be fashionable for black girls to go with white men. But what we didn't realize here is that they had already started a campaign in '99 to start happening, where they had the girl Nia Long starring a movie called Boiler Room, and she started going with the white boy. They had a couple of commercials leading going up to Halle Berry winning Academy Award for fucking this white boy.
Right, Monsters Ball.
Monsters Ball.
Doggy style.
Yeah.
That you know, man, and I've never seen a white woman schooled in an R-rated movie like that.
I never.
Never.
Never. So they also know when they want to push the envelope. Mm-hmm. Get do some things that's controversial, they get a black person to do it. Mm-hmm. Just in case it backfires, they can destroy their careers. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So but I've never seen something that was embarrassing. I had to close my eyes.
Yeah, it was.
You know, see this nasty hillbilly nigga. And you know what he said? He said that's the most request thing he gets when people see him all around the world.
What?
It's how was it to do that scene with Halle Berry?
Mm-hmm. And I wonder why did they put a cracker like him? I mean, they got millions of crackers. But Billy Bob Thornton,
right? Who don't even civilize something? He's a fucking hillbilly.
I mean, he don't throw trash, low level.
Yeah. Not only that, look. Not only that. Then begin to let them know it's all a ritual now. To let them graduate into something greater, the very next year, she becomes James Bond's hoe.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying?
Right.
You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's all by design.
Mm-hmm.
To say now she's really elite.
Right.
She can do what she want to do. And this all started when she had to take off her breast, show her breast on Swordfish. A year before the Monster Ball came out, she did the Swordfish thing, which is interesting. People don't know. Most of the people show their breasts and do all that kind of stuff early on in Hollywood.
Right.
Then when they get to a certain stature, they won't do it no more.
Right.
She did the opposite. She was in Hollywood for almost 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Before she did that. You see, and people don't understand, she got the Academy Award, and that's a promotion.
Right.
To promote, saying it's all right for white. We'll give you the reason why in a few minutes. But then again, on the other hand, she won that, and Denzel wins the Academy Award.
Mm-hmm.
But there's only one thing that people don't understand about it. No matter how good his performance was, as being this rogue cop, two things happened. It said that the role, because you know the role for Halle Berry's role was offered to Angela Bassett, and she turned it down.
Love her for that. Love her for that.
Yeah.